All right. We finally made it back. All right, sorry about that, folks. If you're just seeing it now, I am back up. Yep, the family life never ends, even at 11 o'clock at night, apparently. So, uh, let's see here if we get some people back in here real quick. Well, let's see. Let's get some folks back in here. Anybody in? Are we getting anybody in here? There we go. Well, I got thrown off there for a second right when I started. So, but I had to restart there real quick. Too many distractions still going on around here. Yeah, so we are here. We got some folks already back up in here. I had to cut the TikTok because the TikTok feed's pretty much useless at this point. I get like 0 views. So I've pretty much been going around restructuring some of the stuff I've been doing. TikTok's a useless platform. It's pretty much dying, I think, at this point. So I'm gonna probably maybe switch to think about switching to like maybe adding an Instagram thing or or something else. Find another streaming platform, maybe Kick or something like that to add to. But yeah, TikTok's pretty much a wash at this point with that. Maybe I'll just put videos up on there, clips, but I really don't like it. And then maybe I just, I could maybe simulcast. I've tried to figure out how to cast to the Facebook, but it's pretty much it only wants to go to my main account on Facebook, like my personal account, which I don't want to do. So I can't figure out how to push it to the Arrakis Central account. So yeah, interesting. Yeah, so I got thrown off there for a second, guys. I had to kind of restart all my mental thinking here tonight. I got totally distracted, dude. I was all into my startup, and then boom, I get my wife calls me on the phone instantly. So, and totally threw me off my game there. I have a Facebook page, but I don't really use it. And then yeah, I mean, this it's so weird out there right now with trying to get anything to blow up on anything other than YouTube and Twitch. I mean, my Twitch is not that big, but still, it's better than other stuff. Yeah. Facebook sucks because remember, Dan, we've talked about that Dune Facebook page I think before, where it's just complete debauchery on there, just complete maniacs on there. I don't understand Facebook. Yeah, Facebook is a cesspool. I think the Reddit Dune stuff is weird too because you'll post something and they'll block you, and it's like, what? What'd you block that for? I did find out because the Dune Awakening Reddit is a third party, not Funcom. Yeah, so I don't know who runs it. Yeah, I don't know who runs. I don't. I didn't ask who runs it, but yeah. And really, the only normal people in all of this whole thing, guys, is Funcom, the game company. Dude, I've met them, and they're like just totally nice people. I met some of them. I'm just like the internet is the bad part of all this. Well, I feel that we're at a before we get into the videos here. I'm waiting for some people to get in. I think we're gonna start seeing a rollback of internet since bots are just taking over everything. I guess there's like total like swaths of people that are basically ditching technology now. I mean, are severely like limiting it to like just check your email and maybe you have like one social media thing to check and then maybe you watch a YouTube video on something, but like people are just basically checking out of the internet now. It seems like, dude, I guess apparently a lot of, I won't say too much information about it, but a family member is, you know, a young person is in not my direct family, but a, not my immediate family, but is getting married and then they are basically all the people around them. They're young and they're all going back to the church. Very interesting. So young people are kind of going back to that. It seems like it's like going full circle here now. Society seems like yeah, because the internet's just a complete. The internet's just complete freaking joke now. You're not getting any real news. You can't look at news on there. We don't get any real news. Media is totally fake, right? So you have to. I mean, it's very interesting what's going on. Nobody trusts any kind of news source anymore. Right? It's also a thing. I don't. I don't trust even the stuff. Maybe even the stuff I kind of agree with. Maybe I don't even trust any of it. I trust my own eyes at this point. It's like what the heck. But who knows what's real? I think I told the story about the. Did I ever tell you guys a story? One of my deployments about the media, the news. Basically, to cut the story short, we watched them light a fire, a vehicle on fire, and then with the road flare, and then they started a news report on if it was a vehicle that just got attacked. So yeah, they're complete liars. News media. This is this is like 20 something years ago. Very interesting. Who we got out here today? We got Fabby Raptor. We got I don't know how that. Oh, it is no. You don't know Number Dan. You don't know about that. People are quitting because they're really yeah. I think people are just gonna condense their like me. I'm older, but like not old. I'm not old. I'm in my 40s, but I basically just now use YouTube and Facebook to do personal stuff like talk to family and friends. That's it. I don't use anything else anymore. I'm not really. I'm used Twitch. I don't. I used to watch a lot of Twitch, but I kind of don't anymore. Unless it's like Dune related, and plus doing this channel, all my focus and free time is now on this. So now I kind of just look at Dune stuff. Like I was reading my book. I was reading the book in the morning, House of Atreides, and I also got a. Oh crap! There's my CDs. No, I also got a the Dune House of Atreides graphic novel. I need to show you guys and maybe do a video on it. Pretty cool though. Pretty cool stuff, guys. I've had a long week. I'm kind of decompressing here tonight. My mind's awash with work stuff still, and it's I've been home from work since. Heck, I think I left there. We left at 3 today. My brain's still going with this stuff. I work on some pretty complicated crap at my work, so Tanit, hey, does shield go down? Oh, a Funcom press kit box? No. I didn't get any. Well, we got. I have. Well, I don't have it here, but we have the gift bag from the Tokyo Game Show. But I don't have it here. Oh, I did get a. Oh, actually, I take that back. They gave me stuff. They gave me a bag of stuff when I was in Oslo, Norway. So I got some comics. They gave me some random things. But the coolest thing out of it was the stickers, which I have right here. I never took them off the. I can't show you guys, but I have stickers. Man, we got 10 people up in here, guys. Awesome, awesome. So Tanit, by the way, how does Shield go down? You mean in Shield go down? What do you mean in Dune, the book, in the movie? Have you not watched the movie? The Shield go down. Is that what you're asking about? In Dune Part 1 or in the book? Or are you talking about in the game? You talking about in the story or in the game? Tarsar, hey, cool. We got some people in here watching. Oh man. The dev said we can take down shields as said in the books. Oh, well, yeah, you can probably go, I'm guessing, if they mean by bases, you can probably, if you infiltrate a base, maybe you can, oh, well, are you talking about in the live stream this week? Well, I haven't watched it yet. We're about to watch it. And I have held off watching the live stream, guys. They did on Tuesday because I was so swamped with work, real work. I haven't. So that's what we're going to cover tonight. So we're going to start it right now, actually, guys, because we got to kick this off. It's already 11, so we got to go. So I did not watch any of this yet. I've watched maybe like about a couple minutes of it, and that was like halfway through the stream. And then I stopped to leave it for the live stream. So let's go ahead and get over here. I'm going to click a couple things, get into my live, and then boom. Okay, we're going to start this, guys. So this is the live stream from earlier. Spoiler XD, let's watch. Yo, Dirty Feet Crew. Yeah, everyone's up. People are getting in. People are coming in now. So we're just gonna recap and watch. So I'm probably split this in two parts, similar to the last time. Tonight we'll do about an hour or so. Tomorrow night, same thing. Because I do 2 shows on the weekend, Friday, Saturday night, live stream. Once the game comes out next week, so my live stream's gonna pick up on the weekdays as well. Maybe not every day. I think I talked about it. I haven't figured out which days I'm going to take off. Probably Wednesdays, maybe. We'll just see how it goes. The weekdays will be sporadic. The weeknights, because I have work. I have work tomorrow, but I am tired because I've been doing a lot of working out lately. So, very interesting. Let's play it. Let's go. We're going to go ahead and jump right into this.
Few survive this world, but those who do awaken.
There we go.
The desert wants you dead, Off-worlder. If the sands don't take you, the storms will swallow you whole. But you don't have to walk this path alone. In every danger, there is opportunity.
See how this goes through.
Foundation of something greater. A power waiting to be harnessed.
The problem I have with this headset, I have this fancy headset, is when I adjust the volume on it, it's just the volume that's coming through the what you guys hear, the loudness. So it's kind of a weird. I gotta figure that out.
To fight for.
We've seen this trailer already.
To conquer. But there are forces beyond even your control. master Arrakis, and it will open your mind. This is your path to awakening.
Oh, I guess it worked. It didn't take over all the way. Okay. All right, so they're about to start this live. There we go.
Hello, everybody, to our, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, last developer live stream before our head start and the full launch of Dune Awakening.
Nice.
I'm Natasha Rösli. I have the honor to be your host for today. And I think I'm not the only one when I say I'm so excited for you to experience what our teams have been working on for the past years. So, some of you have gotten a taste of what the game feels and looks like during the beta weekend, but today we go beyond the beta and show you a glimpse of mid and end game of Dune Awakening. We have first a little segment where we talk beta and combat. We then have live gameplay of Haga Basin and also social hubs. We go into live gameplay of the Deep Desert. And as always, we have a Q&A in the end, where we'll be connecting questions from you, from chat, live during the stream. But before we dive into all of that, let's watch a brand new video.
A new video. New video.
Combat in Dune Awakening is the fusion of melee, shields,
hey, it's Fabby Raptor. Red hair.
abilities, and vehicles. As you progress, your tactical options expand, allowing you to express yourself through different styles of play. In the beginning, combat is a short, brutal affair. Do everything you can to knock your opponents off balance and open them up for a retaliating strike. Keep an eye on your stamina.
Violet hair.
Or find yourself in trouble. Early abilities change the paradigm. Use the voice to force your enemies to come to you. Shigawire Claw to stagger an enemy. Knee charge into melee range.
Yeah, it looks like they changed some of the combat a little.
Ranged weapons like the Mauler pistol allow you to maintain distance and take down enemies from afar.
Nice.
Until a shielded enemy enters the fray. Holtzman shields change the nature of combat.
Gene's here.
Their kinetic barrier can only be pierced by
next week, man, we're about to have our adventure.
Fast on defense, slow on attack.
So this week's goal, this next coming weeks, are going to be having to figure out the servers we're going to be in.
With shielded enemies.
So
but without a shield
we'll be playing.
You will quickly be overwhelmed by enemy fire.
Oh, Lumberdan, that's fine. Do what you got to do.
Have a weakness beyond the slow blade. Ranged attacks cannot be fired from inside an active shield, creating a window of opportunity for the others to exploit.
You see, that's what those frickin' stupid tanks always have, their shield up at the same time they're firing. It's always hard to kill them.
Fires drilling darts that will attach to a shield and slowly pass through. The Disruptor fires statically charged darts at variable speeds to overwhelm the power supply of the shield. Abilities can turn the tide of any battle. Swordmasters use their deflection ability to close the distance and bring their crippling strikes to bear on their enemies. Troopers use their techniques to take to the air and bring death from above. Bene Gesserit stop enemies in their tracks with the power of the voice, or use their Bindu dash to quickly close the gap. Mentats control the battlefield with their Sentinel, or use the Hunter Seeker for a silent takedown. Abilities, ranged weapons,
We've seen a lot of this, but
shields,
already.
and melee work in concert to allow mastery. But beyond mastery lies the spice. Consume it to
Snorting some of that good stuff.
transcend human limits with new abilities and prescience, seeing what others cannot, the narrow path to victory.
That was cool.
Combine these techniques freely to experience sandbox combat. Create unique strategies and bring them to bear against your foes. Always remember,
I can't wait for the custom
Arrakis
outfits.
takes the weak.
Nice. Survive the dangerous journey. We are ready to go, guys. The 5th? I'm playing the 5th. Yep, I'll be playing
And
the 5th,
we
Tenet.
are back and diving straight
Oh,
into
and that's-
our
yeah, I
first
didn't see that.
segments, showing
I'm
you
not
mid-game in the Haga Basin towards end-game as well. But first, let's of course introduce our guests.
Their final live stream, they
for
finally got all their
today.
sound and everything good.
Here on this side, we did let him out of the doghouse. We have Joel Bailos, aka Chris Knife, our creative director. Joel, you want to introduce yourself quickly?
Hi everybody. My name is, I have to admit it, Joel Bailos this time. So, because this is the last live stream, I'm going to admit that my name is Joel.
Love it.
It's fine. And yep, looking forward to talking about everything we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
Yes, and on this side we have Scott Jr., our executive producer on the game, new face.
Yeah. Finally let me out. You know,
Yes.
the game is gone.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's good to see you both, and good to talk about Dune finally.
Very excited. So, Scott, let us do a little bit of a throwback to beta.
Sure.
Players, as mentioned, have had, let's say, not a small taste, but a taste of the game, the survival aspect of the game. Maybe we can have an infographic where we actually see what the players in the beta were able to experience. Here we have a little infographic. What was the
the
most valuable
infographic.
takeaway from this beta?
I covered this in a
I
video,
think
guys.
Getting the game in so many people's hands so they can understand what we made. When we started working on Dune,
Our live stream, we covered
wanted
this,
to
didn't
make
we?
more than just a normal survival game. We wanted to make a very Dune game, first and foremost. And so that's not obvious, right, what we were doing, because we were taking a lot of risks trying to do some new takes on things to make them more Dune than survival. So we have a lot of people finally being able to play the game and understand, what we're trying to do. So that was great. And then seeing the feedback and the reactions and all the social media posts, all the YouTube videos, it's been fantastic seeing all the feedback. My personal takeaways is that we had a couple technical issues that we were able to sort out and get fixed pretty quickly.
Ooh, that's
some
good.
issues
Technical, that's
with,
good.
some crashes and freezes that we've already fixed. So I'm really excited to get the game out next week so everybody can see what we've changed.
Nice.
Anything you wanted to add?
No, I mean, for me, it's just a lot of fun to watch people finally playing. Like, someone asked me on Discord like a year ago, like, tell us about the game. They wanted me to describe the game. They weren't in the beta. And I was like, well, it's very hard to describe because it's something unique. Yes, it has some familiar survival stuff, but we've layered it all underneath the Dune IP. And it's really hard to describe how all of those things come together to create something that I feel is kind of unique and interesting, right? And so, I think it was fun for people to really get their hands on it. I mean, we've been talking with the closed beta players for a while, but seeing people in the world having it, streaming it, putting up YouTube videos, talking about what they were experiencing, I think, importantly, people finding out whether they like or dislike the game as well, because I really like people to be able to make an informed choice about what they're buying as well. So, yeah.
100%. I think one thing I can add to this as well is like for
the most
me,
transparent
having a bit more
game
of a bird's eye
developers
view
I've
of
ever seen.
How the developers and the teams were reacting to this, because me too, we have been so close to the game for such a long time, you can't really judge it anymore, like from a normal gamer perspective, and then seeing all those amazing kind of obviously there was feedback as well that we kind of needed to address and things. More on that in a second.
Yeah.
But it was just so fun to see how everyone kind of was like, no, we have something here. Like people are enjoying it and they're getting it and they're like having fun playing the game. And that was really great to see from that perspective as well. Like just overall.
In the moments like people almost getting eaten by the sandworm, right? very tense moments that happen in the game. And
Yeah.
just,
I miss
seeing the reaction
I
of
miss
people
getting
is
eaten by the
fantastic.
sandworm already.
There was one thing I really
Next week,
enjoyed.
guys,
It was
next
also
week.
like watching people coming in. I don't want to say skeptics, but they kind of, as they hit the beats of the game, as they progress through the game. In the beginning, they're like, okay, this is this, and this is this, and they kind of, and then like they're like, wait, you can combine the suspensor belt and the Shiga claw, and you can, oh wait, you can do these things. Oh, cool! I got and suddenly the game, like, it's opening up more and more, and they're really starting to understand the philosophy of how we approach the development with the sandbox, right? So, I don't know. As I saw people experiment, I was just like, oh god, they're seeing it and doing it. It's
They
great.
get it. They have
get
those
it.
light bulb moments that we
Yes.
were hoping for, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
and they just were growing more positive as they played more, right? And that to me is huge. It's really important.
Yeah, and it's, as I mentioned, that are the things that are really great to see from kind of an outside perspective as well.
And it was good,
Nice.
it's the first slide was showing this, right? It's just the first 20 hours, so it's just a taste
Yep.
of the game, right? It's just the very beginning of Act 1. We have so much more to show, and
Which
the best
is
parts are here to
the
come.
rest,
gonna
quite
talk
a bit,
about it.
like a little bit of the stream as well. But going back to the beta weekend, there were of course some things that weren't that great, that didn't go as planned. One of those moments was, of course, the PvP moment in the broadcast, and when it comes to melee combat specifically. But we have actually worked on this and addressed it. Scott, maybe you can give a bit of
Yeah,
context to
so
that.
we were aware of this issue. We've been in closed beta for a year and a half
Yeah.
almost now.
Yeah, they're
right?
talking about
the
that
new
PvP.
combat came in August of last year.
Yep.
And we've been making tweaks based on feedback and playtests that we've been doing. So going into the beta, we knew that there was that issue around stamina and what would happen if it ran out. And we'd already been working on it for over a month to try to fix it. So we patched out a change to it. Do you want to go over the details of that?
I mean, the high level changes it's something like this now, right? So heavy and slow blade have been separated as attacks. So a heavy staggers people now, and then a slow blade finishes them off, like, or goes into the slow blade attack. So you actually, now holding the button, you'll actually do a heavy attack. All attacks have now got proper stamina costs attached to them. And then in addition, if you're in a place where you're getting into the stun lock situation, you get an ability which is called Second Wind. It just pops on. It starts to restore your stamina bar quickly so you can dodge out of any sort of stun lock in that situation. So yeah, we've been doing balance around stamina costing on everything. We've been doing balance around the way, attacks work.
I wanna try that. I wanna try these new mechanics out.
Scott and I did a fair bit of PvP ourselves.
We're pretty bad at
On
it.
the top
but
of a
we
ship.
did
Won?
try.
Did you do well?
Yeah, I won, yeah.
Day one,
He-
and Joel won day 2. Maybe?
I think you won day one,
Yeah.
but that was because on the second day I slotted the Benny Gesserit technique, the Mentat technique, which allowed me to avoid his voice power. And then he wasn't able to
I
get me
see.
anymore. So then it was fun. Like it's fun to
rock,
see
paper,
how
scissors approach.
how the dynamics work,
yeah.
right? So it was a lot of fun. And yeah, I mean, I think we're still, we put it on the closed beta. We're getting feedback from people and testing. But one thing is important to stress, right? It's a
Yeah,
live game,
Fabby Raptor,
and we're gonna
they
continue to
basically
patch and
rebalanced
update.
it
So
all.
we'll be paying a lot of attention
my
to what
understanding.
happens as the game goes live and as people are playing.
They made it
And,
a little
we're here to make the game better.
little
That's our
harder
job.
to
So-
do the that's get
absolutely.
locked in
That's
this the
beautifully
knife
said. Thank
death
you.
the knife
But
death.
Enough just a dry talk. Let's jump into some gameplay. So we actually have an example of group gameplay. I'm like, that word is just not as
I
many.
thought you were going to, when you said dry
Glam
examples, I thought you were going to break out the wine. But let's,
Maybe I should. Maybe I
That's gonna be me and you,
But,
Fabby Raptor,
Yes, so we have some
mining minerals.
group gameplay, Myth
And Jojin.
game actually.
British game,
We can
yeah.
probably just comment on it as
Sure.
well, what we're seeing and how it's different from what people have seen in the beta specifically.
sure, you want.
Sure, yeah, I can go. So,
Oh, goodness.
if you play to the Vermilius
Aetherite
gap,
crystal,
the
I'm assuming that's
journey is
needed.
Still very isolated to yourself, right, and your sand bike, and you have a small base. As you're moving into the next areas, like the Hugga, or this is the Rift, right? You unlock the buggy, and the great thing about the buggy is it allows you to start mining from your vehicle, and the resource.
Now that
requirement
is
as you go
handy,
further
'cause we
and
didn't
further
have
into
that
the
in
game
the-
is
in
more
the,
intense. But the buggy and
the
other
beta
systems
weekend.
like that allow you to increase your harvest rate also.
Yep.
And this is a fantastic part, right? Just
Yeah.
moving around, going to the different resources, either switching yourself to the turret, or if you have a friend,
What if you
having
mine
a
them?
friend man the mining laser.
Oh, he just went right past
and then
him.
being able to harvest resources.
Yeah, the buggy's a multi-seat vehicle, right? So when you get to the mid-game, it's good to start crafting that, right? And then you can get out there and you can harvest. It has a huge inventory space as well, compared to like the sand bike or what the players can carry. Our philosophy of design with the game,
Nice.
like I've seen people talking asking for more inventory space on their character. But our philosophy of design for the game was that you build vehicles and they become your inventory space. You can
Aetheryte
see how
crystal.
big
Remember
this is
that,
and
guys.
How much volume it can hold. So the buggy really is like your mining vehicle of choice as you get into the mid-game. And if you're playing with friends, someone's on the turret, someone's in the driver's seat. You can have a friend in the passenger seat as well. You can bring multiple people, but you can also just like
House
do this
Erebus up in
alone,
the
jump
house.
between seats.
House Erebus. Who we
interaction
got up
menu,
in
you
here?
just select I want to drive now. I want to sit in the turret seat and mine. But I want to talk a little bit about this location because we're in this place called the Haga Rift, and as you can see, it's this dark, gloomy. It's basically a geological ditch. And Herbert talked about this in the book. He talked about the folk of Pan and Graben. And this Graben are these big ditches, these big chasms that you have on Dune, on Arrakis. And in here, it's like the sunlight doesn't really penetrate to the bottom. And down here, there's been this
Make sure if you
ongoing
just
war of
joined in the
attrition
channel
between the Atreides and the
to
Harkonnen
follow
over
or
the shipwreck,
sub
which
on
is
YouTube
central to
or
this area.
on
And then as you
Twitch,
come up
if you like
out
this
of the Haga
content,
Rift, you come back
all
into these
Dune,
other
all day.
areas of the map, and it's like it's a different style and tone to the desert. And I know people have been concerned, or at least been worried that like everything's one biome. But as you go down into the Rift, you feel it's a very different place. And shout out to our world director Jeff. Like one of his big key points about the world was making sure that we had a lot of verticality. And I think Haga Rift is like an absolutely perfect example of how you can just keep going down and
So
down
yes,
to
we
these
will be live
galleries,
streaming
and
on
there's bases
Thursday
built
on
up
this
through
channel.
The entire side of it. It's just
So
this really
remember
fun place to be.
to set your
It's
bell
like,
notifications.
Make it deeper. Make it deeper.
Exactly.
I remember he mentioned that.
And this is where all the lights come into play. So headlights on vehicles, personal lights on players come in. At this point, this is where you start bringing things, and yeah, it's fun.
And it's so huge because then you fly in an ornithopter too. It's
Yes.
like wide and yeah, it's really fun to explore that way too.
The music and the setting and the
Yeah.
atmosphere when you're down, right? You've been in the harsh desert.
Oh, man,
in
you
the
could go right off
Vermilion
those
Gap
cliffs
with,
there.
like, the bright lights on you the entire
it'd be easy
time,
to fall on
going,
there.
like from shadow to shadow.
You gotta pay attention up there.
Preserve water. When you get down there, like the music team's done a very good job of just setting the atmosphere. Feels almost cool.
Is
when
that
you're,
it?
when you're down there?
That's our base in the distance set too.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
where we're heading. So you can see the
Yes.
wreckage of like the wall. You can see that's a deserter base. Like because of the war of attrition that's been happening here, some of the Atreides and Harkonnen have deserted, and they set up little camps around here, and they create like they're obviously hazardous. But now we're coming to a base that we created for this, and this is the Atreides base building set.
Yeah.
And this kind of, I think this is
Awoo.
a woo. This is
Awoo.
this is a great example of what you can do outside of the square blocks that everybody was seeing in beta because they only had access to the
Oh, there was
first
a glitchy
couple
wheel.
of sets.
Yeah, and what's important as you get into the mid game, you start building up your infrastructure, and that's just as important as your equipment or your vehicles. So even if you lose,
Water. That's a
vehicle,
bigger water
right,
cistern.
Like you make your
You need
buggy
that
and
one.
you get unlucky enough to get eaten by a sandworm. Like the infrastructure will allow you to get back on your feet way quicker than that first.
Can we
wave.
can we stop for a second and show a pro tip here? I
Yeah.
really want to pro tip something. So, can someone
Absolutely.
go and use a chest?
Yes. Oh, you want to mention my favorite thing?
So if you go to the wait, is that a chest? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Go to. So if you're in a chest in the game and you have a vehicle anywhere on your land claim, you can go to the top of the inventory on the left there where it says backpack.
Other
Where it
left.
says backpack on the left hand side, whoever's driving. Up there.
up
Yep.
there,
You
yeah.
click the
Yes.
drop down and you can select
Oh.
the vehicle storage. This is
Oh,
a
shoot.
massive quality of life for getting things in and out of your
Oh,
vehicles.
that's freaking
Because we
choice,
see
dude,
that-
right there.
We know it's a little bit hidden. It's not the easiest
That's
thing to
freaking
find.
choice.
But once you know about
Don't
this,
everyone
it ups
remember
the
that.
quality of life in the game immensely because you can just drive in with a buggy full of stuff, go into your base, click any chest, click on the storage drop down, and start taking things out of the back of that vehicle.
It's something that the beta tester suggested, isn't it? Like directly.
Yes.
Yeah.
This was something
Yep.
people were asking for during the closed beta, and we
Exactly.
implemented it. Yeah.
Another thing that I mentioned before, which is such a small quality of life thing, but
we have that before?
too, is you don't have
don't
to
think we had that
empty
before,
your
right?
chests before you can move them.
Oh, exactly.
This
yeah.
is like this
Yes.
is
Oh, they're
a
building Orny.
complete mind-blowing quality
Assault
of life. to actually
ornithopter,
witness, like,
chassis
so
Mark
nice.
6.
So the game works in
nice.
these phases of like, in the beginning, you need a sand bike to get off walking
that's
around,
cool.
right? Then you move to the phase where you want a buggy to help you to harvest and gather resources. And then you move to the phase where you want to start building your first ornithopter. And so we have an example of this here. And the vehicle building in the game is very cooperative, right? You can see that these different, we're now adding permissions to allow people to help us to work on this ornithopter. So this, these guys are all in a group. And so people can cooperatively build. And of course, I think this is the medium, the assault ornithopter, as we call it. So it's the medium tier. But the largest ornithopter, the transport ornithopter, also requires, a lot of parts and a lot of people. So it's kind of part of the way we designed this was to make sure that we had this collaborative building system in the game, both for buildings and for vehicles.
This is my favorite part of the game, just the building the vehicles actually physically in the world, right? Putting the pieces there, working with your friends to make all the parts of them, and then like mixing and matching the different modules to make
Man,
the
it's gonna be
vehicle,
take forever to get
fit
those.
the role that you want to use the vehicle with for that moment.
Yeah, and vehicles come with different module sets, right? So you can put inventories on some. You can, like we talked about the buggy. You can actually have a rocket turret on top of the buggy, which I think you saw in the combat trailer earlier. Yeah. You saw the buggy firing rockets. So you can have different types of things on the different vehicles, and we'll continue to expand that post-launch as well, making the vehicles more and more useful with utility.
Dude, this is awesome. The ornithopter,
it's fun, right? And then I guess the other side of this is
rocket
that
pods,
we can start talking about variants and swatches, which is our
He's actually
customization
going to
system.
change in
Look at
a
these
second.
variants.
We'll actually see that.
So
there we go.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
dude,
this-
look at that.
this
That's
Atreides
cool.
ornithopter.
These guys are aligned with the Atreides.
Boo.
So here we just switched out the Atreides. And a variant, just to put the distinction in place, a swatch allows you to change the color sets, but a variant allows you to change the physical.
Dude, that's
visual.
awesome.
The actual
So this
model,
is this is the shape of the Atreides. It's got the hawk-like lines. It's got the sharp angles.
Boo.
And the Harkonnen have more of an insectile kind of feel to them.
Yeah.
And so this is and you earn these variants in this case by leveling up in the factions, which is a part of the mid game, which we aren't really showing a ton of that today. But as you join a faction, go through their quest lines, you earn access to these kind of variants and things like that. And then you're able to use the Atreides colors and swatches and variants.
Yeah, both on vehicles and your armor.
Dude, that
right?
Atreides
Yes.
one's cool
Vehicles,
looking. Look at that
armors.
thing.
You
Yep.
can represent with your Harkonnen clothes,
Yes.
running in the deep desert,
Yes.
perhaps.
That's fun.
And it's important to note that like a
There's a
lot
big
of our
old
philosophy
tail, doesn't
around
it?
this was as well. Like you create, so let's say you create a tier 4, like a mid-tier armor set, and it's like a scout armor. You can variant swap that to look like any other scout armor in the game. You can't turn it into a heavy armor or a combat armor because we want people to understand in PvP what they're fighting.
Look at this thing.
But you can change it into any other visual of a scout armor, and it's the same with social clothing. It's the same with, obviously combat armor, and it's the same with still suits,
Yeah.
which I mentioned, which are kind of our 4 major armor types in the game.
And as you mentioned,
Dude, we
sorry.
gotta get
No,
those
that's
social,
freaking ornithopters.
medium, social scout.
We can just go anywhere we
combat,
want.
And
Still suits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what they're showing right now is the vulture mode and
Yes.
the ornithopters. So
Sorry.
ornithopters are great, right? Because you have your helicopter mode where you can move in all directions. You can switch to the vulture mode, and then it's more of like a glider.
I think
where
it's
you're
just-
going
it's
up
just
and
gliding
down
everywhere,
to
dude.
gain
I
speed.
think it's gliding.
Yep.
It's
Yeah,
basically a airplane mode.
Legos
and
do's
a
hydrate.
helicopter mode, so to speak,
yeah,
right?
it's like a hover mode and a glide
Yeah.
mode, right?
Yeah.
And the vulture mode allows you to be more maneuverable. You see that they have a boost module. Actually, this is fun. Like when you get to too high in
How to
altitude,
increase the fuel
you
consumption.
start
Oh, the
increasing
higher
the
you
fuel
go, the more.
consumption, which prevents
Oh,
people
yeah.
from going too high in the game. Also good to know for people who want to stay, close to the ground. And now we're flying through an area of the map known as the Shield Wall, which is on the para-northern side of the Haggard Basin. We can talk about the para-directions at some point, because that's always awkward and weird. But because para-north is really south in relative terms to the map. But these are rocky areas, so the sandworm is less of a threat up here, but the enemies are much harder, and the resources you gather up here are much more value, right, to what you're doing. So these are areas where you harvest.
And the first time you're coming here, you don't actually have an ornithopter. More than likely,
Yes.
you don't, right? So
Yes.
then you're having to make the choice of like, do you bring your buggy here, which is really high, really hard to get to, or do you go with your sand bike and try to climb up the wall? So it's ultimately it's about choice, how you go to each of the biomes, and then which vehicles you bring, right, which enable different mechanics based on the one you want.
Yeah, and like this area we're in now is known as the Uldum as well, and the Uldum has a little more plant growth and a little more greenery, and that's because the Uldum is an area where they were doing experiments on some of the land, and we won't talk too much about it, but yeah, we're gonna fly over.
Don't know why
this is
C
This is our
disabled.
second
This is our
C?
second base on the shield wall. Yeah, so this is the.
Oh,
What's
it's
base?
probably a
this
skill.
Is further into the game, people have
He
progressed.
hasn't
a
unlocked
bit.
it yet.
They're probably so we divide the game into 4 phases.
Or he doesn't have anything assigned to it.
Survive, protect, expand, and control. So this would be
Like a weapon,
here
probably.
either
Oh
on
yeah,
the
it's a weapon
expand or
thing.
the
He doesn't
control
have.
part of the game. The
You
sort
can
of
see
last
like a
two
rocket
phases,
pod
right?
or something there.
So you've
It's
got a
not
bigger guild. You're working with
either
a
no
larger
ammo
group of people,
maybe or
potentially.
no.
You can
It's
still
not.
play the
It's
game
not
solo. At this
installed.
point. Everything just takes a little longer and is a little harder to do on your own, right? And that's you can still do it. You can craft these ornithopters. There's no problem. But we encourage people to play together and work together in a multiplayer game.
And we're showing off some building sets we've never shown before.
Yes.
These will be
Yes.
the Twitch drops.
These are
Yes,
Twitch drops. Yeah.
exactly. So the one this is actually the that one's Jome building set, but those round windows and the ceiling pieces, pretty much
Dude, I'm
everything
gonna
that's
try
more metal
and
than
get
like
the
white
Twitch
stone,
drops for you
those
guys.
are actually going to be
So if you
Twitch
guys watch
drops
on- hopefully
that
I
you
can
will
get access- I
so
should
they
be able to get
kinda
access to that.
expand on the existing
Since I'll be on
Jome
creator,
tier set,
preview
which
team
I
or whatever.
love them. I think they're
I'm
very
a
cool.
creator
They're really cool looking.
member.
Yeah, and
So
if
I
you
should be able
saw
to
it like
activate
what we'd
Twitch
expect a
drops,
guild
I'm
base to
hoping, when
look
the game
like,
comes
right?
out.
Lots of production going on. I love. It was something that we were really like pushy on in the game development, making sure that the fabricators actually show the items being
Right.
crafted as they
Yeah.
craft, so you see them
So cool.
form up inside the fabrication units. And yes, I know this isn't exactly something from Dune lore. This is one of the places where I was like, I have to make a concession to the game. They don't have fabricators; they're not mentioned in the lore, but it's fine because it's
It
cool.
looks cool.
Rule
Yeah.
of cool in some cases.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah,
this
there's-
is a vehicle fabricator, yeah.
There's also circuits. Have we ever talked about circuits before?
Nope, not actively. You can.
Okay.
Please feel free.
They're pretty neat.
Oh, he was rocking the
not
movie
like
the movie still
as
suit.
intense as like Factorio, right? Making blue science or anything like that. But you are able to set up different circuits in your base, so you can have some containers feeding into some fabricators, fabricators feeding into others. You'll never have 100% automation like you would get in a factory builder game, but it does enable you as you get to mid game to start having a fair bit of automation in the game when you're playing, because water and electricity become quite a burden if you don't start upgrading your gear and the infrastructure like we were talking about before. So we introduced passive ways to get water, which is a huge help, because water in the mid.
I know some of
and
you
to the
watched
end
this
phase
already,
of
but
it is
I haven't seen
really
this
important
live
through
stream
all
yet, so it's all
aspects,
new to
not
me.
just
What I'm
survival,
seeing,
but also
pretty
crafting.
cool.
For my fellow lore nerds out there, we call the passive water generation wind traps.
I was just about to say there are actually some wind traps on this.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
We've seen some while we walked by them as well, and yeah, it's just like you also see here how much bigger those refineries are. We also saw a spice refinery as well, actually. Like
Yeah, there was
the
spice
round- the round
refineries, yeah,
tubes.
yep. Yeah, and that we just saw a room with some decorations in it as well.
Yeah, we
like just to you can pimp up your area in a sense, like put out holograms. It was quite funny because here's a fun anecdote from development. The artist
no.
made a bunch of the artist made a bunch of pot plants
Oh,
for people to put in their
no.
bases, and I was like, guys, it's June.
There's no water to water those.
So we have a
things
lot of holograms
in your
plants now.
buildings. Yeah,
I was like,
they
we
look
can
great
have.
though.
Then I keep saying the word holograms. Sorry, everyone. Solido projections.
Solido projections.
Solido projections of
You'd be
plants.
yelling at yourself.
Oh my god, I'd be so mad. I'd be so mad if
He
I
was
wasn't me right now.
If you like decorations, you need to explore quite a bit,
Yes.
right? We don't unlock them all.
Yes.
Go to trade posts, go to places where there are people. You can
Oh,
unlock
yeah.
tons of the stuff that you're seeing around in the
Yes.
base here.
exactly.
You have to work a little bit.
You
for
You
it.
didn't
to
watch
work
it?
with
'cause-
it.
Oh yeah,
Like
you didn't watch it yet either.
find
Okay,
people.
cool.
Don't
Yeah.
sell you.
Have you wrapped it?
And obviously,
Well,
these
that's nice.
doors,
You waited
the
for me.
shield doors and things as well. Like once you reach a certain stage in June, you can put shielded doors out, so you don't have to have doors that open and close.
Exactly.
And that's really useful for when you have flying vehicles, you want to land in hangars, you don't have to wait for a door to open.
Some of the cool stuff I've seen in beta is they will make a huge base, but it's kind of covering a road. So they'll open up
yeah.
the middle of it and then set the permissions on the Pinto shields so that you can actually drive
Public,
through it. So
yes.
you can't go into their base, but you can still go through the middle of
Yes.
their
Yeah.
base, which is nice.
It's nice.
Yeah, I agree.
Good guy players.
Good guy.
Man, I like those Twitch skins.
So
He
I
said those
think
are
we're actually
those
gonna
building
go,
skins are Twitch
Up to
drops.
the roof now and build.
So I wonder
a
if that's like when
transport
basically
Oh,
nice. Great.
Which
No.
next
no?
week they're gonna
Okay, not yet.
No, we're not.
they're gonna have that. I have to find out.
We're gonna
Excuse
run around
me,
the base a little
not
bit
wrong.
more.
We're
Yeah,
still
Oh.
doing other things.
That's in. Yeah. Okay.
But
few ornithopters.
what
hovering
we'd
around.
like to do is because we're actually going to go to a social hub later on,
Mm-hmm.
and we'd like to throw that to. Unfortunately, we can do only Twitch, so I'm sorry, YouTube. We love you over there too. It's just our bot is being. a
Oh,
bit
they're all hovering
difficult.
around.
So we'd like to do a poll, throw that to Twitch chat only for today. Which of the social hubs you'd like to see? We have 2 available in the game right now. One is Arrakis, the other one is Harco. and you can choose which of those you'd like to see today. So we give you
Dude, look at all those things flying
minutes
around.
to vote on that. While
Dude, they
our
really have
rock stars and
spruced the
wizards
game up a
behind
lot
the
in this
scenes
last
will be
month.
preparing that poll for you if it's not running already. And yeah, we can talk a little bit.
One of the cool things that they were just showing there is the vehicle backup tool.
Yes.
I don't know if we've talked about that on stream too much, but once you've built a sand bike or a light ornithopter, you can actually build a tool to hide it, or like, what's the lore reason, Joel?
Let's go with the Ritchie's perfected miniaturization
Sure,
technology,
sure.
and the player is able to miniaturize their vehicle, and it only works for vehicles that have nothing in their inventory.
Correct. Yeah.
And two types of vehicle: the sand bike and
Yes.
the light scout ornithopter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we're flying past.
Highly recommend always using it, right? When
Yes.
you're going to a location,
Yes.
land, store your vehicle.
Yes.
Don't let it get destroyed by a sandstorm.
I learned
Exactly.
that the hard way myself too, so I will never do that mistake ever again.
I see we've gone with spoiler
Ooh.
territory here, and we're flying over the giant power station of Misatariel.
Oh, snap.
Don't look.
I don't want to talk too much about it, but we'll let
Oh, we gotta
people
go
figure it
there.
out in the game.
It looks cool. From
It is
the
my
top,
favorite
so it's
location.
like-
There's
Me
another
too.
there's another
Mine's
outpost right there.
Mine too.
And the
Mine too.
story involved in it is
So
really cool.
please look forward to
Yeah.
it.
And there we have someone doing their vulture roll, which is very nice. Can you hit your scanner? As
We never
well,
made it
as
out
well?
there. This is all
Yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah.
like that's vehicles obviously get like players got hand scanners probably in the beta, but now you're up to the stage where you
Oh.
actually have a scanner and you're scanning entire.
We'd never-
like,
we'd never
islands by
been,
pumping sea.
over there
So
before.
the idea is that again, as you progress, everything just takes a step up in how quickly you can do things. We wanted the game to feel, well, you've put in the effort to get this vehicle. We're going to give you the convenience of being able to scan an entire island very quickly, right?
Yeah.
This is a trade post. This is the Crossroads trade post.
Look at the poll. It's super tight. I love that. Like right now, Arrakeen is slightly winning. So let's go,
Harco Village
Harkonnen.
is cooler.
I agree. I agree though. Well, both
We're going to see some footage from Harko
both
no matter
are
what we do.
super
today.
cool,
that's
though.
true.
Both are super cool, but I do like.
Yeah,
Harkonnen
it's just
personally.
because you're an evil person and you like Harkonnens.
I am just like
Something
evil
about
for
that
life.
whipping.
Yeah, they're all
You
past
know-
the
you know
walled
fun part
area
is
right
I
now.
always try to
We
go
never
evil
got
in,
to
like,
see any
games
of
where
that.
You have a choice, and then I end up
course.
good anyway.
Yeah,
like,
feel
because
bad
you
for
can't
the-
bring yourself to do
Feel
it.
bad for those
No,
characters,
So-
I
right?
was just,
Yeah.
yeah.
So these are the pilots. They were disabled in the beta. You may have met one at the first trade post if you were playing.
And we're going to Arrakeen, by the way.
We're going to
won.
Arrakeen?
Yes.
All right.
Okay,
It's fine.
so we're going to go and visit Arrakeen. All right, that's cool. The pilot only takes cash. So you can't have credit. You have to have cash. So we're heading to Arrakeen.
She doesn't use it on sunscreen, that's for sure, because she was really sunburned. Like, so let's just get that out there. Yes. But yeah, you need to have the cash on you as
Yeah.
well.
One of the features in the game that we haven't really spoken about too much. I mean, well, we have a bit. We've spoken, but I don't think people picked it up in the beta. Oh, here we go. Well, I'll let us arrive because this is cool. This is Arrakeen. And as we arrive in Arrakeen, so one of the features we have in the game
That's
is
awesome.
the CommuniNet system. And when a player opens their CommuniNet, they can choose radio stations to listen to in the game, a la like a Fallout game or a GTA game. And this guy, Finno Gary, he runs this trash shop, but he actually has a show on the Atreides radio. And if you listen to the show, it's his daughter talking about their adventures on how they got all this salvage that shows up. So it's kind of fun to just like narratively listen. You know, we tried to connect everything in the world. This is again, I want to make this point because I feel like I see it sometimes online, and it's a little, let's say, disheartening. People, we were advertising the game and saying the word MMO, and then people were like, oh, they took all that off, and we took it off because we do feel like this is a huge world completely worth exploring with lots of other people. But it's not an MMORPG,
Yeah.
and people were getting confused by that.
Yeah.
So we took it down. But I think it's clear when you look at places like our social hubs, our exchange system, our banking system, that we have a lot of elements from those style of games here, right? So yeah, we're looking at the exchange right now. Players can post things on the exchange, and this is
Yeah, this is
the banker.
bank.
Would you like to dip?
One of the great things here is you can actually store items and.
Ooh, that's
credits,
good.
right?
You
So
can
if
store
you're
items
gonna
there.
take a long vacation.
so this-
You're worried about.
I guess the
basing
only
your
reason
trip
it's
for
not
some
a
reason.
full
You can actually
MMO is just
fly to
because
Arrakeen
it's
and dump a bunch of
limited.
stuff in there.
Haga Basin's
But
got
the thing is,
40
like, one of the great
players
things
type
here is
situation.
His mustache.
You know, oh, and it's got server instance. You
I
know,
mean,
Maybe that's why.
We've all seen the
Fantastic mustache. You also pay taxes here.
But other
Yes,
MMOs have
because
server
you need
areas,
to,
so
like,
I
for
don't
the
know.
Bigger
Gotta keep your
sub
shields
fees, you
up.
actually need to make sure you have your taxes paid to the
Maybe I'm really thinking it's because of
and this is-
limited
this is where you pay
Haga
this is the-
Basin
the Imperial
numbers.
consulate, as we call it.
Yeah.
This is where you go to pay your taxes to the Imperium. So the first sub-fief console that you place on Arrakis, the basic one that you place in the starting area, you don't have any taxes to pay on that.
I don't think.
But once you get a bit further into
Are we
the game,
gonna be able to like
you
really
start building bigger bases, you pay taxes.
crash the markets
Once you
and
start expanding that land claim, which you do through these
influence
land
the
claim
markets per
extenders,
se?
you start paying more tax. So the idea is that the larger guilds who have more members, who are more capable of achieving things in the game, they have a higher tax rate because
Yeah.
they're building out larger spaces. And that, that's our way of making it fair for people who only play solo as well. Like, so they don't have as much tax to pay.
The other important thing about the cities is that's where you really progress through the faction storylines, right? So here's where you're going to come and officially join the Atreides or join the Harkonnens and,
Yep.
start vying for the land.
Yeah,
rights
yeah,
system and
Fabiraptor.
getting involved in the
All the
politics of
frickin'-
entire world.
It's gonna turn
And
into
this
like
is where
EVE
the advanced
Online.
trainers are as well.
Yeah.
For people who want to progress past the basic level of training in their particular chosen classes.
Except for Derek.
Oh, Derek, the planetologist, he's everywhere.
He's just traveling around.
He's everywhere.
He's a wandering mentor. You can find him anywhere.
Yeah, he's here. He's there.
He's
He's
there.
He's everywhere.
Derek Chenard. Okay, no, enough. Sorry.
No, but you have contracts here, of course, as well, and
contracts,
specific
yeah.
vendors, so they have a lot of things to sell as well.
Yes, and the main story brings you to these locations as well.
Yes. So now we actually get a glimpse at the overland map.
Yes.
which
So,
is-
Oh, they didn't show
you
us the
can
whole
use
place.
Pilots in the trade post to fly to the hubs like we showed, and you use those same pilots to get back. But once you have your own ornithopter, you can just fly to the edge of the Haga Basin map, and you'll get a prompt asking you if you'd like to go to the overland map. And this is the overland map. And this is, again, one of the things that I think kind of breaks us away from your standard survival game. This is where we have the ability to infinitely expand this game, where we have multiple maps that players can go to. I think this is where you go to
Oh,
reach the
there's
Deep
other
Desert. This is where you
locations.
go to reach several of the story maps. Right now, we've landed on a fuel deposit. We're just picking up a bit of fuel, refueling our ornithopter. On
Oh,
there.
okay. You don't go in there like per se.
We're able to expand here for a long time, and this is kind of part of what, again, we wanted to do to make this a coherent universe, right? And make Dune feel like something that we're going to be working on and adding to for a long time.
So post-launch, there will be new locations that show up here.
Yes.
We'll have events that have locations here for short durations, right?
Oh,
for,
nice. That's
to
where the
shake
event's
things
gonna
up
be.
and,
Bosses, maybe?
Eventually, when
Certain
we release
events?
huge content
Wow.
drops.
See,
they'll
that's gonna be
accessible
awesome.
through the overland.
Through
map.
the overland.
Moon,
Exactly.
Frang, Wan.
One other
Undercutting
thing
people
that
in
you
the player
find
exchange may be a thing,
in the
but
overland
because
map,
nearly
which also goes
everything
into the story,
is
that
sold at the market
we
for
really
set
would like to
caps,
talk a little bit
that means
more about,
bloat
because we
won't get
haven't
crazy.
as I
Yeah, that's what I'm
mentioned,
thinking too.
It takes a while. To
Welcome
also
to the
get
YouTube
story
channel.
going, so people during the
Plus,
beta weekend
selling
haven't
to
actually
NPC
seen
vendors is
much
adjusted
of
based
that.
on supply and demand. Yep.
So we at the overland map,
So
you can
that will
also access
impact
some of
the
the
player
story
exchange.
dungeons.
Yeah,
And
well,
we
thanks for
actually do
watching
have
on
some footage of one
YouTube.
of
Throw me a
those
sub if you
dungeons
haven't
that
already,
meet
if you like the
and,
coverage of
Joel
this.
and Scott can probably give a little bit
Appreciate
of
you
context
watching the
what
channel.
we've
Part
seen.
of Act 2.
So here we're not going to spoil too much of the story, but
Nope,
this
nope,
is kind of the theme of Act 2, right? You've moved from a survivor doing the trials, now you're getting involved in the politics.
Look, the kitten is back.
Yeah, so there's a lot more interaction with NPCs, dialogue,
Seems that
there's a lot more
Watchers have
cinematics,
some new blood.
and a lot of locations outside the Haga Basin that you'll be going to.
Wealthiest
One of my favorite characters too.
Yeah, she's
I love her. Everyone does.
In the
kind of.
Cone of Silence.
Yeah, we didn't mention the Cone of Silence, but you're inside the Cone of Silence here, and the game actually dampens all the sound outside of it when you enter, which is pretty cool.
To be distributed in the water supply of this water shipper. The act of
Chore murky for law people who understand.
What is that, by the way? I actually don't know
The
what that
Assassin's
is.
Handbook describes certain poisons. Chore murky is poison in the drink.
Damn.
That's actually something I didn't know. Like I was wondering about that earlier. Like I didn't know what that term
this
is.
water
So you see we have a dialogue system in the game where you can make choices based on several of the things that you've done in the game as well. Your background at the start has some payoff here.
Oh, nice. Hey, thanks for the sub.
wealthy.
again,
Awesome. Appreciate
it's,
that.
It's not like, we're not making an
got a
Obsidian
new sub.
RPG with all of the choices. It's something like that.
Mon
but we're
Farang
doing
Wan.
a level of this
Thank you.
that's above and beyond what most survival games do, I think.
And you will be interacting with some Dune characters that people
But look
are
at her
familiar
last
with.
name.
Yeah,
Dune
yeah.
fans probably recognize already that last name.
Yep.
All right, so we're skipping ahead here. We've jumped to the part of the mission where you're heading towards the water shipper's mansion, which is in the Imperial Basin just outside of Arrakis. The player is being sent there to assassinate and poison this water shipper on behalf of the Lara Tuek. And so we come to this new level on the Overland map.
Yeah, so your job is to infiltrate,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, she's talking and explaining the mission, but I can't hear it, so I'm just. But
One of the things we wanted to do is make sure all the abilities still work in these, so it is
Yes.
still very sandboxy.
yeah,
There will always be multiple approaches. You
Yeah.
know, if you have a Shigawire Claw, you can use that to grappling hook over some areas. If not, then you're gonna have to be a little bit more stealthy and avoid the searchlights.
yeah, exactly. It's like it's one of those things where our philosophy is like we give people all these tools, but it's a sandbox. Play the way you want to play. Like here, it's we have to find a guy called Yargan, who's her contact.
He's supposed to be waiting for you by one of the storage sheds.
Yeah.
And so like it's like we're quite nice to people. You might get spotted, but you can escape the lights quickly.
Yeah.
That's the one we
I'm
found
not,
here.
you can read the dialogue here. It's fun. One of those ones.
And again, depending on your background, they actually get different choices to
Yeah.
to the dialogue.
Character creation is important.
Why don't we just
Yes.
have this conversation in that spotlight over there?
He's a grumpy
I
guy.
agreed to help Alara with this. It was because her old man got me out of a few scrapes back in the day. But if you get caught, we ain't met.
Especially when he talks about the place.
Got it?
You'll appreciate this option.
Good.
Oh, that's your name, loosely translated for a sweet
It's
potato.
like, so which background?
Guarded like a princess's virtue.
Which background do you have to get that option now?
That one's for everyone for free.
It's for everyone. That's for free. Okay, there you go. I love that we have it in a video too.
You listen, smart ass.
But there's so many little Easter eggs and fun things that you also wrote, like especially also for like weapon
weapon
descriptions and
descriptions,
things.
item
Super
descriptions.
fun. Like everything's connected. Like for those of you who do like lore and who know Dune lore as well, you will find a lot of
That looks
connections,
pretty
but also
cool.
for the
Pretty
ones
cool
who
scenery
don't,
there.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's super fun to just.
Follow the path.
He's
Showing
also
off the
explaining
NPCs, huh?
the different ways that you can approach this.
Look at all
quest
the
right now.
water
So he's
dew
sort of
plants there.
explaining to you, there's like two paths that you can take. Like you don't have to go this way, you don't have to go that way.
Oh, is this like a
Here's how
mission
can
where you
get
have
in,
to
here's how you
sneak
can get in,
through?
right? So as a player, you can approach this again in kind of that sandbox approach. It's like, again, I don't want to oversell it. It's not an immersive sim where you have
Yeah,
like the
no.
Dishonored level, of,
Yeah.
but you can definitely find alternate paths into the mansion to achieve your mission. And I think that like a shout out to the story content team with Bernard and the boys, as I call them. They've done a great job with these.
Oh, it's
setting
like a
them up.
stealth.
And here's what
Oh,
Scott was talking about.
okay,
where
yeah, you do get caught.
like I've set the game up in this way. I'm a Benny Gesserit. I'm just going to stun this guy, and then I'll be able to walk past him, and he won't even notice me. He won't call up. He won't call the guards because he doesn't see me, right? And so you can use your abilities, your skills that you've picked up in the game to just pass through these areas, and yeah, it's kind of fun, right? And we just wanted to show that we have
Oh,
more than just
using that cutter.
the basic survival game. There's way more going on here.
Yeah. Especially like I think it takes about if you let's assume
This
you
is stuff
know
we haven't
everything
seen.
else, because there's
It's all
a lot of
stuff we haven't
choices for you
seen
how
before.
you want to approach Dune Awakening and what there's to do. But let's assume you're only going for the main story and like those cinematics and things. So it takes you.
Moon
I did
Fraying
talk to
one.
Niels about
Make sure to go
it as
check out the rest of my
well.
YouTube channel. I have
It takes
all
about
kind of Dune
30
lore.
hours
I've been
for
covering
this
this
to
game for
really
a long
get
time during its
going.
development. Yep, I cover the movies, cover
Playing by
everything.
yourself,
Just check out
just
my YouTube
experiencing
channels.
all the
If you like
survival
Dune lore too, I have a lot of that.
elements and Added alone, yeah.
My
30
my
hours to
channel's
get to
all
part
just
two.
Dune.
Yeah, it's deliberately like. I'm not defensive about Act 1, but the first part of the game is deliberately somewhat light, just to give people that, like, learn the world,
Exactly,
acclimatize
yeah.
yourself, like, follow up on the Fremen. You have the Fremen trials, and it's super interesting, and then we start introducing and layering the politics of the universe and more and more of
Exactly,
this
yeah.
stuff, and more of your personal story, like, what's going on, why are you the one being asked to do this,
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
happening, right?
And ultimately, it is a survival game first, right? So
Yes.
the player needs to learn how to survive in Arrakis, right? And it's a very harsh environment. There's a lot of mechanics to figure out, and then you have to make your make your way through there and figure out how to get outside of the Haga Basin right before you can experience, you know, more of the politics and intrigue that are going on.
Exactly. And I really love that we have, I mean, the beginning of the game is kind of story driven, right? You get context to what, where you, well, a little bit of context what's actually happening. You have a person that talks to you and helps you at the beginning. And then, as you mentioned, it goes more into learning the actual mechanics and the tutorialization of the game. And we give you time to get a bit acquainted with everything, or not everything, but a lot of the things, like the basic mechanics, and then we like approach you again with the story a bit later on. And I really love that too.
I love this guy, but we're cutting now because we're not going to spoil too much of what's going on.
No, exactly. So obviously we don't want to show too much. There's more to this.
Oh, they don't want to spoil it for us.
What we're going to do now, though, is we're actually going to watch another video that's going to lead us into our next segment. So enjoy.
Cool.
Oh, here we go.
Intense.
Cutscene, cutscene.
Power. Given the right lever, you can move a planet. In Dune Awakening, your path to power leads you through the great houses.
Oh, here we go.
But only
Cutscene,
accomplished
cutscene.
guilds may earn their place among the Atreides or Harkonnen. Swear your allegiance and contribute to their rise in desert power. The pledge is only the beginning.
Oh, that's fun.
You have come far, and now it's time to take control of the Landsraad. The Landsraad is the council of great houses that make decisions that impact all the players on all the servers in your world. Your goal, and that of your guild, is to secure their votes so that your faction, the Harkonnen or Atreides, can take control. To secure their votes and sway them to your side, you must complete specific house requirements on the Landsraad board. Alone or together with your guild, your efforts can move the needle.
One thing I never went back and did is kept working on my CGI animations on the Blender. Remember I showed you guys some of the planet I made before? Man, that's a lot of work though. That takes hours.
Whether you enjoy PvE or
Just to do that little bit.
PvP, there are many paths to victory. If you prefer the relative safety of the shield wall, there are many activities that will not put you into direct conflict with other players, while still contributing to your faction's rise to power. House Torvald wants you to eliminate sandflies. Rush in, or pick off the deserters one by one with your sniper rifle. House Rashis wants a delivery of ground cars. Join up with friends and build strongholds for large-scale production, and deliver them safely to the House representative by ground or air. Large-scale production is costly and will require a lot of resources. To be able to craft certain high-tier items, you will also need the most sought-after resource of all: spice. You can buy spice from spice merchants or on the player-run exchange. And it can even be found in smaller pockets behind the shield wall. But to collect industrial
Collect that spice by hand. That's a bad way to do it.
you must venture into the unknown. The deep desert beckons.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's gonna be tons of PvE in this game. I think it's gonna be a good balance. Everything we've seen is gonna be a good balance of both. There's gonna be something for everybody here. It seems like, and done well. It looks like.
Revealing new resources to
Oh,
mine
Star Wars Marvel Pierce up in here.
and points of interests to explore.
The most famous guy I know.
This
He gets interviews with like.
offers endless exploration.
He gets interviews with
but also
big Star Wars channels.
endless conflict. Each house in the Landsraad desires a specific control point in the deep desert. Seize it.
Oh, I'll get you
and
some
hold it
spice, all
all the
right.
time
Are you
to
gonna play the
gain their
game?
vote.
Star Wars Marvel.
Fortify it,
You gonna put? Are
and
you
be
planning on
ready
playing
for
this
a
game at all?
fight. Other
You join our
players will
guild?
soon come to take it from you.
I know you're a lot busy on your channel all the time, so I've been busy with my
The
stuff
deep
too.
desert is also
It's hard to
home
keep up with everybody.
frequent spice blows, offering large quantities of the precious melange. You need a lot of spice. Once you've located a spice blow, move your harvesters in place to collect. Just be ready to defend it with your life. After a week of politics, manufacturing, and conflict, one side emerges victoriously.
That's awesome. That reminds me of Dune Spice Wars.
The Harkonnen have seized the Landsrad. And the leaders of
Sorry.
the
Oh
player
yeah, you can't even do your gaming
who
streams.
contributed
Yeah. Oh yeah,
to
work
their
is
victory
brutal for me too lately.
all get to vote for a decree that will impact everyone on a server belonging to
Oh,
that
Sons
world.
Ventress Republic comic. Oh,
They
cool,
choose
cool.
to
Hey, I
unlock
got a
exclusive
graphic
weapon
novel of
influence
Dune.
rights. By decree of the Landsrad
I bought
Council,
graphic novel
under
Dune
the
graphic. I've got a
seal
new
of His
item.
Imperial Majesty, a trade consortium has been authorized to visit Arrakis, providing Harkonnen players with exclusive access to a unique
Heck, it's
weapons
almost
vendor.
midnight here. I've been out of work
In
since
Hawker
3. I'm like
Village.
I'm still thinking about work stuff in my head.
As the Harkonnen Landsrad term begins, the race for control in the next term.
Oh, that wasn't me. That's. Oh, they cut that off. Oh, okay. That was a.
No
That
one
was
would have noticed if you didn't say anything, Scott.
Sorry.
that was their glitch.
I'm
I thought my stream just went down for a
Sure
second.
it cut off mid VO.
It
So.
probably did. Yes, I can hear it either. But the video is going to be available after the stream anyway, so you can watch it in all its glory. Landsrad. Talking about Landsrad, so let's go to the next segment.
Yeah.
Endgame and Landsrad. So.
Oh,
we know
dude! Imagine
people
if
have, of course,
imagine if Star Wars
expectations
got a
of
game
what
like
the
that, dude.
Endgame
That's
and
how
Landsrad, and
that's how
especially
garbage
the
Disney is.
desert looks like and what it's for.
Dune's
and
getting
how
an
people
awesome,
use the
massive
desert
MMO.
and
That's
how it
cool,
works.
and
All
Star
of
Wars
those
can't even
things.
figure
But
that
I
out.
think before we go into more details and show some really exciting gameplay as well.
Imagine if they had a Star
Joel,
Wars version
I
of this
think
where you
it'd be cool to
build
talk about the
bases,
mission for what the
infiltrate,
endgame is supposed to be.
you
Right?
know,
Yeah.
survival
Yeah,
mechanic,
I
but
think,
you know they could put it
like,
on
going
a
back
couple different planets.
to when
Be awesome,
I
right?
joined the project. Like, so this
Design
is 5 years
speeders
ago,
and
right?
flyers, and
And we
even
were talking
Star
about
Wars could do
what
it off
is
planet,
a
so you could make your own
good
starships and fly to other,
survival game,
other
because
planets and
Dune,
stuff.
You know, we were making a Dune survival.
They'll
game.
never do that though,
And
because
we were
Disney's too
talking
dumb.
about what is the
Disney is
vision
way
for an
too stupid
endgame
to figure
in
that
Dune?
out.
And the kind of the goal and the idea, at least in the beginning, was like we started with, hey, like you start by surviving in the desert, and it's that raw nature versus, you know, mankind kind of thing. It's the sun, it's the sandworms, it's the storms. But then you move into this new mode of survival, which is political survival, which is the end game of the game needs to be about these big forces, right? The Imperium is made up of the great houses, the Landsrad, the Emperor, the Spacing Guild, Chome, all of these.
Oh, yeah, back in
things
business.
and
Yeah, it
influence, and
seems
you as
like
a
it's,
player are just a small cog in the machine. But we
Things are
want
getting
you to be
better.
able to feel like you're participating in this big umbrella system. And so we started there. And then we talked about, like, there's an element
I know,
of,
it's
like, I
cheap
think
to
very
fill my car up
technical
again.
game design here where we talk about
Cheaper.
player activity cycles through the week. I was looking at
Yeah, Star Wars
games like
Galaxies was
Rust.
awesome.
You know, Rust has their server resets, which is great for like people to start building up, and people really enjoy that cycle. but a lot of people also love having their stuff and not losing it. And so we talked about.
Yeah,
like, okay,
I
what about a place- and
I tried to
Dune's
get into
perfect,
that
right? You have
game.
these corridor
I have it.
slabs,
I
and
actually
there's
own whatever
scenes in the
package of
book
it.
where the
But
sand is just tearing.
it got
apart
kind of
cliff
old
faces
quick
and
to me, though.
ripping down the things in the desert and revealing things from beneath the sand. And
The,
so we said, okay,
Star
what
Wars-
if we had a map, the deep
The
desert,
Old Republic game.
and in the deep desert,
I just
the
felt like
landscape
it
changes
needed.
every week. How does that affect
It
gameplay?
was
And then we
missing
started
something.
there
I don't
and
know
talked
what.
about,
It was kind of vehicles, maybe,
what
or
about
it
if
was. It
there's
did
a
have a
cycle
starship. It did have a
of
fighter
events
mission.
that we want players
They
to go
added
through.
that
And
later
again,
on, right?
This is a high-level design.
We could
We
fly
might
around,
actually have
but
an
it just
infographic or a visual asset
that
for
game
that,
just felt
a
some
week
clunky to me. I
cycle
don't know why.
of-
Oh, do we?
Yep.
Cool.
Even though the
Fun.
graphics were cool.
You guys are on top of things. I know nothing. Oh,
No,
no,
not
no,
that
no,
one.
sorry.
I didn't
not
like
that
the
one.
kind of the turn-based
But, okay.
World of Warcraft
Anyway,
style
Maybe it's not that-
fighting.
maybe
I
we
can just-
didn't
I
make it
can
in
just
time.
keep talking.
Yeah,
Just
go
keep
for it.
talking.
I like
Sorry,
this. I like
I know
this
it's
more
boring,
action-orientated, like this
But,
Dune
like,
game.
we wanted to approach this, right? So we were like, okay, what if there's a map that resets and the map changes every week?
Did you cover the
So it's an
KOTOR
infinitely
remake?
explorable
All that they
space.
stole. They
And we
shut that
worked
one guy
backwards from
down,
there
making
and said,
it
how
just
do
to
we
make a
build
crappier version
a
of
lot
the
of our
remake.
game systems towards this. So we
I
started
think it's still in the
with
works, right?
the idea of, yes, the map resets. When would we want to reset the map? Let's say we reset it on the lowest player activity day of the week, right? Which tends to be a Tuesday night or a Wednesday in these kind of online games. And then we're like, okay, and then there's this activity we call scouting and cartography. And then we built a game mechanic around cartography and scouting, which I think we're going to show in a little bit. And that is, and maybe you saw it, we definitely tutorialized it in the beta, you reveal parts of the map. And then we made it so that you can save those maps and sell them to other players. So we create a loop there for players who are scouts, and that happens, let's say, you know, in a player activity week, it happens during the low ebb. The deep desert gets revealed. Everybody needs information. How do we make information a commodity? We create a cartography and a scouting system. Then once that information
My
is
favorite
gathered,
Star Wars game is
people share it
the
with their friends and their guilds. Then they start setting up
TIE
what we call a
Fighter,
logistics
and then
plan. How am I
Knights of the
going
Old
to
Republic,
control the spaces
but then
in
also
the, deep
the,
desert that I want to control. What am
Shadow
I
or
looking for?
Star
Are we
Wars
looking for
Empires at
spice?
War.
Are we looking for
That's the
unique
game. Is
schematics?
the shit.
Are we going after shipwrecks?
Pardon my French.
Are we going after
Empires at War.
ecology labs that have been revealed? Like, what are we doing this week? So then they go set up. And then the weekend, which is when the highest player activity count is, that's when people are online. And that's where people really participate in the activities in the deep desert, whether that is running ecology labs with their friends or shipwrecks or fighting over like control points in the deep desert. And then after the weekend, I should say, on top of this as an umbrella is the Landsrad. And the Landsrad are asking you to do activities
Shaitan,
that take place
Scheiber,
both in the
Shaitan.
deep desert, but
Welcome
also
to the
outside
stream.
of the deep desert. There's a lot of PvE stuff in there. And then at the end of that activity cycle, everybody votes. It sets a server.
The only turn-based I like really
wide
anymore is if
change,
it's like
like a
a old
worldwide,
Final
I think we
Fantasy
should say, in
role-playing
our
kind of game
terminology.
like
It
that.
changes every
I don't mind
every
turn-based.
rule set in the world can be changed by the Landsrad.
Like Persona
And then
5. I
the
remember
Coriolis
played
Storm
Persona
happens
5. I
again
love
on
that. I love that game.
And we start over again with a new weekly cycle. And this is kind of the vision and dream for how the end game should play out and how we would like it to work. And yeah, I mean, we'll talk about how that we've set everything up for this to be the case, but of course, no plan survives first contact with players.
Ooh,
So
new follower on
another point I would
Twitch.
like to make is
Hey,
just we're a live game.
Brydom,
We'll continue
welcome
tweak
to
and
the
update these
live.
things. So,
Go
but
check out
let's
my
maybe look
YouTube.
at
I got
and
all
talk
this
about it.
Dune
Yes,
stuff over there on my
let's look at
YouTube
the
channel.
gameplay, actually.
Dune content, lore,
activities
and
that
merchandise,
you might be
everything.
wanting
So
to
go check
do.
it out.
So we have like actually a team here that will now go into the desert.
Okay, so we've gone through the overland map,
Yeah, we're
and
in the
we're
shield
in
wall.
we're in
now.
the shield wall, which is the southern part of the deep desert.
It's the PvE area. so to
Correct,
speak.
yeah.
This
So
is the PvE
it was-
space.
It was important for us so that people that are scared of PvP or reluctant to get engaged with it, right, that they had a place in the deep desert that they could go to without, instantly getting killed as soon as you're coming through, like in warping in, right, gate camping or whatever from other games. And this is also where you set up your base of operations.
Yes.
The very first area, because the deep desert is gigantic. There's no water here.
Yes.
And you need to have the logistics set up, and
Yep.
like you can go there by yourself. Like I fly there on beta. I try to stay away from people because, as we said, we're not great at PvP necessarily.
People call it ratting.
Yeah,
Right?
ratting.
You can go in and rat.
Oh, I'm totally right.
Right.
Absolutely.
But just to point out one thing here, because these guys are using. So again,
Awesome.
coming back to
There we
like,
go.
how do we
Some
get towards
building.
this vision? We started with How do you build you know this is going to get wiped every week.
That's going to be Fabby
How do we
Raptor
encourage
running
people to
around
build
building our
bases?
base.
Well, first of all, we created this
Next week.
blueprinting system.
Fabby Raptor, you
bring
got
the
deluxe,
diagram
right?
of your base, you place it out and you build it quickly, right? This is very fast. It doesn't take very long when you're with a few friends. You get a base put down. You build it up quickly. This is part of the logistics side.
Yeah, I don't pull the numbers you do, Star
Bring
Wars.
The resources
You
from
pull
Honda
those
Basin
big
and all the
numbers.
vehicles that you're bringing with you, or you can harvest in the. There's quite a bit of resources in the shield wall. You
Yep.
know, so you can set this up.
So this is what's happening here. We're building a forwarding base.
Exactly. I was going to say that this is obviously a forwarding base because it is kind of very boxy again compared to like the actual home bases that we saw earlier. Because this is all about efficiency, right?
Yes.
And like fitting your the storages and the all the machines that you need. You know now my brain just stopped working. Fabricators. Thank you.
Yeah, and we made a change, or not a change. It's just the building costs are different in the deep desert, so it costs half as much to build
Yes.
everywhere.
Building
and you
is
get 100%
faster,
when
yep.
you're breaking things down.
You-
Just because we know you're going to be redoing this every week.
Yep.
There's
Yep.
going to be some loss, right? You know, so we're trying to make it easy and accessible in the ways that we can, while still keeping the threat there and the
yeah.
intensity, right?
Tenet, you can. There's
Yeah, I think
actually
that's it,
a
like the deep desert
Muad'Dib
is a little bit about that
terrarium.
tension as well. That feeling. of like,
He hangs
so
out
you-
in
we're
your little
building here,
aquarium
it's
there. You can
PvE
put it in
area.
your
I expect
base.
people to build their.
It's going to be an item you can
primary,
build.
like weekly base. In the
I don't
PvE
think that
area
they're gonna
and
have
maybe set
pets
out some
following you
logistics
around,
bases
though.
so
I
that
don't
they
think that's
can
a thing.
Do things like refining spice. And that's
He's
where it
alive.
becomes
He's going to be
an
alive in like
interesting
a
kind of,
little
like, we'll see
aquarium.
how people play out.
But
these
as far as
scenarios in
pets,
the
like,
actual
following
deep
you
desert
around,
in
I
the
don't think
game,
they're going
but
to do
this is
that.
kind of the expected behavior. This is what
Maybe
we hope
later.
people will
Maybe
do.
they might. I don't know.
And we've tried to build all the
That'd
mechanics.
be cool if they
into
have
place so
limited
that people
pets.
can do
Muad'Dib follow
this,
you, maybe an
right?
eagle.
And that's been a large
Nothing
part of it.
crazy, right?
You
A
also
couple
see
little
co-building
pet
here.
options. That
There's
might
actually,
be kind of
several
cool.
people working on
Yeah,
this.
everyone's working together, right?
Yeah,
And
which
that's
is super nice
that's
too.
the guild focus as well. Like you know, it
Exactly.
is a multiplayer game. It's really important to make sure that people can play together and do things together. And I think the fun part in this game and this style of game is that it extends beyond like the traditional MMO experience of like we can fight things together, right? And we can role play together, but you know, you're not building things together, you're not crafting vehicles together, right? We have those options, which is nice.
Exactly.
And it's just cool to see how quick you can use the blueprint system to get like a gigantic base, right?
Yep.
Even though it's utilitarian, right? But yeah, it does what it needs, and it's quite impressive.
Yep.
I know that people are also wondering that you won't be able to, copy that your setup inside. So this is literally the blueprint is for the building itself. So everything inside.
Correct. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You still have to put the placeables in.
So we're behind the shield wall. I think we've just left the base now,
Yeah, we're actually
and we're
just showing a little bit of the
Yeah.
PvE area here.
so this
as
is
well.
this is behind the shield wall, and then you come out into the deep desert, and this is like I think oh yeah, sorry, behind the shield wall there's also PvE elements here. This is the PvE space.
Yep.
So there are things like shipwrecks that you can raid. There are like eco labs behind here. So there is a section of the deep desert. I know people are really worried about doing PvP. There's a whole section here. It's 24 kilometers long, where you can actually go and like do the PvE part. And we're about to see. Well, this will take a few seconds.
We're actually
survey happening.
We're in the middle of
just
the survey.
surveying the-
So now we're surveying the land.
Yeah,
in
so
this
apparently
section,
the first
and we'll see the
areas
segment
of the
reveal
deep
itself.
desert is PvE.
And this is like one of the PvE segments
Apparently.
of the deep desert. And what you'll see here.
So I guess you
is
can
that we
kind of
surveyed
regroup and
one
all that
square.
if you don't want to
And
necessarily.
just to give some context, that's one of.
I guess you could
81
build like a little base there, right? I
squares
wonder if you can build a
within this
base in
map.
that area.
So there are 81 of these squares. It's huge.
Yeah.
There
We're
are.
actually also seeing the sync chart that you mentioned earlier.
It looks like
as
you can.
well,
Yes.
come into
So,
play.
so now.
Yeah, you can build a
I don't
base
know
over there, I
who's-
think.
I don't know whose
Yeah,
name it is,
that
but
base they were just
whichever
at, that
player
was
is crafting
deep
a-
deep desert
they
base.
have surveyed.
Camille is
Now they're going
crafting
to
it.
craft.
Because they're in the
a
deep desert
sync
right now,
chart.
right? Is that what they're
They
showing?
have crafted a sync chart of the deep desert. It tells you in
Yeah.
the information which sector of the deep desert, who created it, how long ago it was created, so you understand whether the information's out of date or in date. They're going to share that sync chart with their friends.
Yep.
And then their friends, hopefully, will be able to switch camera perspective and see their friend apply the sync chart,
is
which
the
saves
plan.
them having to
Yes.
explore.
Yeah,
So this is that
exactly.
cartography loop.
You could go out with like a
Oh.
really quick ornithopter.
Look at this. That's the deep desert over there.
Oh, sure.
To the left.
But you can go out with like an exploration kit, right? That's
Yeah.
really fast. That
Yes.
You can go around. You don't have much harvesting abilities, right? And then
Yeah.
you scout the area, bring it back, and then your base can roll out with your transport ornithopters. Your,
Yeah.
your
Oh yeah,
harvesters,
I've had people on my
sandcrawlers.
videos,
what your
my
plan
YouTube
is for
videos
today.
hating on the game.
Yeah.
Which doesn't necessarily
need.
have to be PvP.
Without even
There's actually
playing
a
it.
lot of other things,
Yeah,
that
exactly.
might
I
bring you to the
expect
deep
people
desert.
to. in guilds to be figuring things out and how they're going to work together to do these things. But there's roles here, right? Like again, we tried to really build this game with different roles for different people within guilds.
Exactly.
So the idea is, oh yeah, maybe I'm just the scout, and that's what I do.
I mean, you
because
never
I
know
hate
these days. They could be
going
paid
into fight,
opposition
but
from some other game
I go
studios or
out,
something. Who
I bring
knows?
back the information. Then people who like building bases are planning like what our logistics are going to be and what we're going to be doing this week in the deep desert. What do we need to harvest? What do we need for our
Yeah,
crafting?
some guys on a YouTube channel were talking
there
about
uniques that we're
Lost
looking for? Are there
Oasis, which is a
specific
game,
I think
kind of
one
a
of the
survival weird
really
game
important
where you build those
points
walking
about the Deep
machines.
Desert
The game is
that, like,
totally
the-
dead,
The unique
and it's
schematics, the
nowhere
Imperial
near as
permits,
cool as
which
this
maybe
game. Like,
people
they-
saw,
I was
the
like,
purple ones, they're on a
a lot
a
of people
limited
don't
loot
like a game
setup,
if you
so
can't
don't
exploit
get the
it.
same ones every week, and the layouts.
That's
of the
another
Deep
thing
Desert
too.
change.
They, won't-
Here we
a
see
lot
the
of people
trading
won't
system.
play a game if you
You see
cannot
cards
exploit
been
the game.
traded.
And those schematics
basically
you can only
cheat.
make a certain amount of times.
Yeah, and now
in some weird ways. So that's kind of like
we're
a
going
lot
to
of people don't
consumer
like
sync
that.
chart,
They want to
and then
play
we're going
games
to
that they
open
can
our map and see
exploit,
that the sector has been cleared. The
you
same
know,
sector.
grief people.
That was
That's the kind of games they like. But
So this is kind of cool. You can create
There'll be a
copies
little bit
this
of
and
griefing in
sell-
this game, though.
pass
There's
it
gonna
off
be
to your
some.
guild. You can create copies and
Especially
sell
out in
them
the
on
deep
the
desert.
exchange to other players as well.
Yes, and while now they're actually
the
building a
transport
transport ornithopter, we can actually quickly talk about the Coriolis Storm in combination with the map, because we actually have a visual asset here
Yeah.
that shows how they can look like on
Yeah,
the
so
map.
we can talk about the rotation. So
Yeah,
this is like
Monferring. I had
let's
people
say that we're going to see
putting
3
comments on
weeks
some of my
before
YouTube
Yellowstone
videos saying like that was the
changes
better
to the map.
game.
So this is
Last Oasis, like,
week
dude,
one.
it's nobody's playing it. It's
And
totally
then
dead.
we move to, and you can see that there's like one eco
It's like,
lab, a shipwreck,
what are they
and a
talking
cave
about?
there, right, and a small base, and some spice blows that have been marked. And then to the next week, the layout has changed. Where
Same
things
tile.
are is different. There's a control point now in the bottom left. There's an eco lab in a different place and a shipwreck that's been uncovered.
And there will be different loot and different
Different
schematics
loot,
that you
Well, that's
all
cool,
of them.
Star Wars.
And then
Yep.
we
Go hang
one
out the
more
wife.
week again. And now you can see that this is a
Yeah,
bit
I might not.
larger.
I might
There's
not.
another
I might
control
not
point.
even
It's
be
a
able to
different
finish
house
this
control
entire
point
video.
now.
We might have to
Different
cut it short
spaces
here
on
in
the
the
map.
next
A couple of eco labs this time.
few minutes here.
4 or 5 caves and the
Because I got to go to bed
shipwreck.
too.
So you can sort of see how this changes and how this loot encourages exploration for people each week.
And that's one tile.
That's one section.
One of
181st.
One of 81.
Yeah.
But I will
There
say
we go.
this: it's a very big desert with a lot of space.
Yes.
So there's not all the tiles are that populated each week. So people aren't like, oh, there's not 15 eco labs in every square, right?
No.
Like
Yes.
it's a
more
big
sparse.
barren place. And this is also like important because if we want people to fight over things, we actually need to draw them to the same places to fight
Yes.
over specific things in PvP.
Yes. So for
Alright.
the ones who actually do want the PvP, they have a place to go where they know there's probably other players there as well.
Okay, so now we have a transport ornithopter. This is the largest flying vehicle that you can craft in the game. And this may be my favorite game mechanic.
Yeah, I played a lot of
because
Fallout
the transport
76.
ornithopter can pick things up. And I love it.
But
because
I,
it
you
can
know, I
pick
made
up
the mistake of
almost
playing it in the
anything
beginning
that
when it
is a
launched, and then I
vehicle
didn't like it because there was
right, in
nothing.
the
There was
game.
like
So
nothing to
One
do.
of the things you'll see in the mid game is like the.
I went
buggies
back
really
like
hard.
later on and played it again, and I was like, oh, this game's way better now. But it was too
So
late.
much
I was
more
kind
than
of
you can
tired
ever
of it.
Possibly mine yourself, but it's a pain, right, to get up on the shield wall.
I
or
do like
to get down here.
PvP.
So a good tactic with
But,
the,
like,
with
in
the buggy,
reason,
though, is to use it as storage
Like I
and use the
think that
transport
this
ornithopter
game,
to pick it up and
everything
carry
I've
it.
seen of
Are
Dune
we gonna
Awakening is
show
going to have a
an
great
example of
balance
carrying? I guess
of
we are.
Yes, we
Yeah,
are,
cool.
because what we're actually
PvE and
preparing for
PvP.
is a spice harvesting mission.
So the team's going out to do some
yes.
spice harvesting. Cool.
So we are actually gonna
like Fallout 76 is like a
pick
lot
up
better
a
now
Yeah.
harvester.
So
than it
now we're
was,
coming
but
out
it's
into what
I
call
didn't.
real deep desert,
I
right?
felt
This
the
is
base
actually
building
what
was
you think of
clunky.
when you think of Arrakis from the movies, right?
I
So
didn't like the
is-
base
so,
building,
yeah,
how you had
we've
to
got
find
nice
these little
tutorial
spots
pop-up
in the
talking
woods
about
and
the
all.
deep
I
desert.
didn't like that at all.
So this is the Arrakis that we know from the
And
films.
then the base was kinda
Hagen
useless,
Basin is
it felt like.
and it's taking a lot of the information.
I just
that
felt
we
the
have
base
from the
was
book
useless in that game. I don't know why.
and about like the different biomes and things and making it into a truly sort of interesting PvE experience. But this is the true deep desert of Arrakis. This is a place where people are scared to go. This is where the Fremen live. We're passing outside the shield wall now.
Okay, this is the part I
is
saw
where
earlier.
the War of
I watched
Assassins
a
and the
couple minutes of the
PvP is
clip,
allowed
so I've
to
seen
happen.
this little part.
And you can see a spice
But
ball
not
in the
past it.
distance, which draws people from miles around to go there, right? And I do want to say this section here, if you turn the camera right and left, you can see that we have the shield wall. It goes, this is 24 kilometers long, and you can't see people all the way along. So people who are like nervous about going into the deep desert because they're worried about, the PvPers, I think there's like an element from my end, a designed moment that we've talked about on this project quite often is like you come to the edge of this vast ocean and you dip your toe in the water and you're a little bit scared of sharks, but you see something in the distance and you think, I can make it. I can get there and I can get back. And the first time it's scary. And you feel that tension. And the second time and the third time. But you feel that tension, but you actually start doing it, right? And I get that people worry about toxic behaviors and ganking and so forth, but we tried to build a
Yep, I
space
agree.
where
The
you
launch
can
is what
get
soured
away
me
from
on
people
Fallout
as well.
76.
Correct. Yeah. So
Even though
I
now
think
you go
that's
back
really
and play,
important
it's
to talk
really
about
good.
is,
Yes.
in Dune, you were given the tools to get away, right?
But
Like,
too
if
late. Now this Dune's
overwhelming
coming out, and
amounts
this
of
is my
people
new
come
game
after
forever.
you, maybe you can't quite get away, but that's generally not going to happen. So a lot of it is more about PvP is about controlling a point and like having to give up.
All right, February Raptor, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be on live again tomorrow night.
Down
Yes,
Sandcastle.
exactly.
So on the Landsrad here, this is kind of interesting, right? So you can see the Landsrad's in the state of
Just
like
Montferring,
if we're
I
playing
do
this as
Friday
the
and
Atreides, we're going to
Saturday
win what we call
Dune
a
news
Sizzle Rad.
podcast, kind of
And
like
a
this.
Sizzle Rad means that
This
we're going
week,
to get
tonight,
the
I'm
voting
showing
power for
this.
the
Usually we
week.
talk
So
about
a
other
Sizzle
stuff
Rad is
too,
when we can
and we
complete
talk
a
about
row.
other Dune things
So
too.
normally, if you
And then,
if you were Harkonnen and Atreides
but
in
like I
this
said, the game's
situation,
coming
you'd
out,
both be
so
fighting
everything's
over this
really focused
particular
on the game
control
right
point
now.
because you really don't want the other one to win for the week. But normally, like it's as well, it's kind of you're always blocking each other and causing like the other team to have to, go back and focus on filling out a row or trying to fill out as many squares as possible. So we're trying to take the
House Haggle?
House Haggle owns this control point in the deep desert. We're in the deep desert as Atreides taking over this control point on their behalf, and you can see it's just this control point. It's a place.
I'm gonna do about 5 more minutes, guys.
Other people,
And then we're gonna save
will
the
earn
rest of
points
this
over time. It's
last
a classic
next
control
hour,
point in
50
the
minutes or
desert.
so of this for
One
tomorrow
other
night.
thing, just if you stop for a second here, one
So
of the things
it is getting late for
one
me.
of the feedbacks we had
So
in
we'll watch
beta
about
was
5 more
team
minutes of this.
markers. And you can see our new team marker system in the game here. It's deliberately only for the 4-person groups. I will not allow this to be in the game for guilds because I want, especially I know people talk about Zergs. I think when Zerg guilds and there's 40 people attacking each other on the street.
Yeah, good night. Hey,
if
thanks for
everybody
checking out the
can see
channel.
who's in their
Appreciate it.
guild, it's very easy
Just
to
remember,
target-
next Thursday,
target the people that you're
9
trying to
a.m. US
Zerg.
time,
But if it's just
Central,
the group,
this game's coming
then it's
out, I'll
much
be
more difficult
live streaming.
for Zergs to actually not do friendly fire.
Yeah.
And there is full friendly fire on guilds.
I mean, they can do it if they work for it, right? They can make sure everyone has the same swatches and the same
sure.
armor.
That's-
So there is
But
ways to
somebody
do
could
it, but
figure out
they
what
have to
you're
work.
dressed like and infiltrate.
Quickly
Exactly.
switch
Yeah,
to your-
exactly. So that's
we didn't want to take
no
away
artificial.
Yeah, it's been one of my. Let's say I will say this is one of those things where I have had to fight with a lot of developers on this project about this. There's a crashed ship down there, by the way. It's kind of cool that you could also go loot that. But it's giving too much information for free to players actually limits our ability for people to have politics and intrigue.
Yeah.
Because if I can see your name over your head, I know who you are, right? But if I don't know who that is, and you dress in my clothing and you walk into my base and you follow me around, it's I might just think that you're my friend from the guild, when in fact you're just
That's awesome. Look at that spice
infiltrate.
plume, dude.
And we want
That
to
is
allow
so
that
cool.
possibility because that is Dune.
look at that.
At its core, that is how things work. There are plans within plans. There are groups within groups.
I remember that from early on, where your kind of law was information.
Dude, look how cool
has
that
to
looks.
be
Oh
earned.
yeah, for sure.
That was a very early thing.
In the next couple minutes, I'm gonna get 20 more viewers watch. They always do that when I'm talking about cutting the stream short.
And it's been a very painful technical thing to get working.
Yes.
But we just crossed a server border.
Dude,
You
look
probably
at that,
might
it's
not have
awesome.
even noticed
Look at that
any sort of
spice plume,
hitching or
dude.
anything because it's very seamless. And
That's cool.
Again, shout out to our technical team who've been
Yes,
working their
yeah.
butts off to get this in. good
Dude,
shape.
look at how
But we
awesome
just
that
crossed a server border from one server to another, and it's basically
That
not
is
visible,
badass,
which is great.
dude.
Yeah, what we call authority transfer.
Dude, how can
Authority
anybody
transfer
hate this
between
game?
servers, yeah. So now we're picking up a random sandcrawler and bringing it out to the spice harvesting field. So,
Bro,
I mean, I love that.
This
I love
looks
that
so
mechanic. I
awesome.
think it's fantastic fun.
Out there in
game,
the
just
desert.
picking things up.
The transport ornithopter is quite slow,
Yeah, it's very slow.
so it is dangerous to go out just in the transport ornithopter.
And you can, of course, sit in the harvester
Yes,
while being
sure, you can,
transported,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is really fun too.
You can also,
Yes.
I think the transport
can-
has 5 seats as well. So
Yes.
there's,
I wish you could have
can
the
bring a
big
whole little
giant
group with you.
harvester from the movie.
Kidnap other enemy harvesters as well, which is also super fun to do.
But we should talk about spice because
Yes.
that's really ties
Yeah.
the entire end game together, right? So
Yeah.
all the tier, tier 6 or the last like set of resources, right? Everything requires spice to craft it. So your end-game gear, your end-game tools, end-game vehicles.
Everything in game requires spice for crafting, essentially. And also, we mentioned the Landsrad. The Landsrad has always the center square of the Landsrad requires
drops
spice to win. It's important.
They gotta hurry up before the worm
Sandcrawler
comes, right?
Is like, it's not the full harvesters that you've seen in the films. Those are owned by the big houses. But as you can see here, this is like a little raid event. We just placed a thumper on the sand. We have a guy on a bike. He's riding around dropping thumpers.
You should also hear it actually on stream now. You hear the.
You just talked about the
thumpers
harvesters.
are
Okay,
really
only the
important
major
because
houses get the big ones.
sandworms
Okay, got it. That
roam
makes
the
sense.
deep desert. They will be coming, and you need to be placing out thumpers to distract them away from that sandcrawler while it's harvesting spice. And you want to keep it on the spice as long as possible, just like in the book. You want to stay on the spice, earn as much profit as you possibly can.
I got things driving around.
Look
Look at this harvesting the spice.
So the sandworm stops being, it not stops, but it's less of a threat as you're going throughout Hogga Basin.
That is awesome.
Mid-game. But then at the end game, right, there's sandworms all over the
they
place,
drop
and it becomes a
thumpers.
threat again, especially when you're trying to get spice from the sand.
They drop thumpers, distraction.
So you saw the sandworm just took that thumper. Hopefully our intrepid thumper places have put out more of them.
They're
Neuron.
totally
He's
well
zipping around.
organized. They have like several people placing out thumpers.
Yeah.
They have like the scouts here in the air that we see as well, which is really cool to see.
Looking for worms.
Plus our transport to be ready for any kind of danger that might occur.
And so as soon as the sandcrawler, like the person driving the sandcrawler knows that they're the target of the sandworm, they need to radio in and be like, get me off the sand, so that the transport ornithopter will pick them up. But at the moment, I think we're using the thumpers effectively as a team, and this is a part of it, right? Like this is why
awesome,
the Deep
dude.
Desert is very Dune. I don't think you have this experience.
This
in
is
any other game.
freaking
And the idea
amazing.
was to create this. So if you
how they're doing this.
are here with your guild, there's something to do and it's fun and it's interesting. But then other players might show up as well, and that's where it becomes another step, right?
So you're saying it's not just reskinned Conan Exiles? Is that what you're saying, Joel?
We could talk about what the word reskin means. We could talk about that some of the best games in the world are reskins.
After
of
they
other
finish
games.
this little
you
mining
see
scene,
here,
I'm
though,
gonna
that there
when they
is
move to
a
the
lot
next
of
thing, I'm gonna
sandworms
go ahead
that
and
are
stop for
popping
the
up
evening,
here
but
constantly.
let them
This is
finish.
both
We'll finish this
fantasy, but also
mining section of the game they're
There's a
showing.
limit to how much they
Yes.
will eat thumpers, right?
Yes.
They do eventually get annoyed.
Eventually,
There's
they
like,
have enough.
I'm not that dumb, right?
yeah.
Like
They'll eat thumpers for a while.
I see what you're doing here.
They have a diverse palate.
Yes.
Dude, it's awesome.
But yeah, this is like.
You also see nicely the scouts around to see like also potentially looking out for sandstorms coming in. Of
sandstorms,
course,
yes.
they're kind of
Worm
devastating
sign.
in this particular worm signs. Enemies.
You can
coming
stay
in
if
as
you keep
well.
putting those thumpers out. You can just stay there for a long time.
So
Isn't a big worm gonna come eventually?
This is kind of the experience of like harvesting spice in the deep desert from a large spice blow, and there are smaller spice blows like that you can come to with a smaller guild.
We also have them in Hogga Basin, of course.
Yes,
Just way
there's
smaller than
just a
this one.
couple ones in Haga. Yeah, it's very limited because we wanted spice to be a rare resource that you need to go out here into the deep desert to get.
And talking about like concentration of people, like the spice blow you can see from really far away,
Yeah.
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
20 plus kilometers away.
So this is
You do need to
PvP.
bring some friends
So
to
if
be
you're
looking
doing
out
this,
for other
enemy,
people coming in.
other
Yep.
player factions
There's
can come
another
attack
thumping
you
on there.
while you're
So,
doing this.
I know we've seen some
Isn't that crazy?
comments from people that are like, well, you have to go into the deep desert to get like the highest type of gear and such. What
That
do we?
is not true. We have the exchange. We just showed that before, right? So you can be somebody that is making something that a person on the exchange would want, right? That goes into the deep desert.
Oh,
to
you
get
can buy the
spice
good gear on the
or to
exchange,
get,
okay.
like some schematics. They can go to Arrakis or Hargo Village, post that, and then you can trade it on the exchange. Or you can meet up in person and trade with
Picking
the
up the
PvP.
crawler.
I think there
oh.
might have been some.
Oh, is that a
some,
glitch?
we can't hear it though, but there might have been some rumblings and some indication that.
Was that a glitch?
Yep.
What just happened? Oh no,
The,
they switched camera
I
views.
think that they got worm sign
big
and they need to
threads.
move. The
Is the big
yeah, we
worm
have a-
going
we do have a
to
known bug in
show
the game
up?
where the spice color disappears from the sand.
It's still there. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's happening.
Oh, there it
That's
is.
why they.
And
Yeah,
there's the
we can
grandfather
actually
one.
hear that. Yeah.
That's shy.
It's great seeing the little
Oh my
sandworm.
god, look how big that worm is.
So you can see the scale.
Little baby like getting into the action there,
This is the ring mouth worm.
That's the ring mouth, yeah.
and that's gonna
Wow.
swallow everything
That
that's
one's
in the
big, yeah,
middle.
yeah.
They're like just everything there is
Wow.
lost. and
Look at that.
log.
But these guys managed to succeed, and they can take their haul out of the deep desert today with them.
Very well prepared.
So you could just actually,
They
from
were
a
well
distance, you
prepared.
could hang back
So
and wait for a
as our
crew
here
to
is
mine, then you can
now
hit 'em.
Going
You can raid 'em
back
when they're flying through the air or whatever.
Actually, maybe we can explore a little bit because we do actually have Imperial testing stations here as well, and I think we're actually somewhat
folks.
close to one, if I remember correctly. So we can.
All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and pause that right there. And what do you guys think of that, man? So far, we're gonna watch the rest of this tomorrow night. We're gonna cover the rest of it. It's only like 40 minutes left, but I gotta hit the bed, guys. But anyways, what did you guys think of that? That mining scene was awesome. That was cool, dude. Man, we have only 5 days left, guys. We're gonna be freaking ready to rock here on 9 a.m. Central Time for me. I'll be going live, so hopefully everything works out. I mean, I'll be off that day. You know, granted, you know, I have, you know, wife and kids, and it is summertime, so we'll see what happens. But everything should work out pretty good for me to at least get hopefully 3 hours in on Thursday morning at 9 to about noon. Hopefully, that's my plan. My plan right now is to stream from 9 a.m. till noon, and then come back in the evening and stream again. And then, of course, Friday morning, maybe early Friday morning, possibly. Like, we'll see how it goes. If I stream late Thursday night, I may not come back on till again Friday evening, or maybe for a little bit of time on the afternoon of Friday. It all depends on the schedule. And then, of course, Friday night to Saturday night, we'll definitely be streaming for sure that next weekend. So we'll be we're gonna be doing 4 days in a row, essentially 4 evenings in a row for sure, and then some of the daytime sporadically. So that's gonna be awesome, guys. I don't know exactly my schedule will be, but we're working it. Oh, Aspen Air, need to find an 8-ball for the 5th. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Coffee, I have espresso machine. In the morning won't be that bad, but that evening, I don't know, bourbon and coffee. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. But hey, everyone, it was a cool evening. Just let me know what you guys think. If you guys do want to help out the channel, start sharing the videos. Even if you find yourself on you know, YouTube or whatever, on share the videos on Facebook or something, whatever. Just share my videos, and just make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications, all that good stuff. And I know if you got to the stream late tonight, sorry about that, but we're gonna be going again tomorrow night, show the rest of this live stream, and then cover other stuff too, other Dune stuff. And then we might even I've been meaning to get into some other entertainment stuff on the podcasts on our Friday, Saturdays, talking about other entertainment news. There's some kind of, they kind of make fun of other franchises in a weird way. That's kind of going to be my goal with that, to kind of make fun of other crappy franchises that are kind of dying right now, or not very good. So yeah. So apparently the new Superman movie isn't doing too hot on test screenings, and then they're doing reshoots. And then the other rumor is that the reshooting the new Marvel Doomsday, because apparently that's not looking too hot either. And from everything I've seen from the Fantastic Four movie trailers and stuff, that does not look good. So yeah, I want to cover some of that, and then kind of just highlight how much better Dune is than all the other franchises right now. So yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow night after we finish this. Kind of fun. Gonna be fun to crap on franchises that suck, and Dune's better. Hey, I'm a Dune channel, so I have to like Dune better. So that's just kind of my shtick. Anyways, all right, everyone. I will talk to you guys tomorrow evening, and yeah, we'll have a good time. I need to get a dang Oslo, Norway Funcom headquarters video done. Man, I've been slacking on that, so I need to get that going and finished and up as soon as I can. So maybe tomorrow I'll try to work on that. Maybe. But oh goodness, my wife might let me go watch the Mission Impossible movie. Maybe. I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Anyways. let's go. Not sure they need to reshoot the new Superman. The acting looked great. Yeah, that's what they're saying. It's too silly. I've heard rumors that it's a goofy movie, so they're having to like edit or I don't know. I don't know. I think Henry Cavill's Superman's. I think that's a better franchise from with how this looks to me. Other than their movies kind of weren't, the later ones were not all that great, but the director's cut of Justice League was like really good, but honestly, Zack Snyder is so hit or miss. He's like sometimes he has something really cool, and then if he has no middle ground. His stuff's actually is either really awesome or it's complete dud, like complete piece of trash. It's so weird with him, Zack Snyder. Like Man of Steel was awesome, really great movie. Then you had Batman versus Superman, which was okay, and then you had the Justice League for the regular one. It was horrible. It was completely horrible. But then he fixed it with the director's cut, which was awesome. But then he came out with that zombie movie on Netflix, which sucked. It started off good, but then it really sucked. And then not so horribly, but then he came out with the Rebel Moon. Holy crap. Those are the worst stinking movies, dude. Horrible Rebel Moon. Rebel Moon is such trash. We should make fun of Rebel Moon tomorrow night. Let's do that. That'd be fun. Those are horrible. Those are god awful. Yeah, science fiction, and this rips off Warhammer and all kinds of other stuff. It is horrible. I watched the first one, and then I think I watched I watched the first few minutes of the second part or whatever it was, and I turned it off. So, all right, everyone, I'm gonna go ahead and call this an evening. But tune in tomorrow night around the same time, 9:30, 10, depending on how early I can go live, and we'll start the next part of this. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you for tuning in, and like and subscribe. All right, thanks.
Let my courage show in the desert.